Burnout can make even the smallest tasks feel huge, and since I'm recovering from a pretty heavy burnout, I thought I'd share 5 small things that have really been helping me recover. Number 1, slower mornings. I stopped rushing and I started trying to find small pockets of peace in my day. I learned to let things unfold with trust in myself that the important things will get done. When we're rushing to constantly get things done, especially first thing in the morning, sometimes I think that it gives us the idea that we don't trust ourselves enough to know that the things that need to be completed that day will get done. And that constant pressure on ourselves does not help burnout in any way. So sometimes even just focusing on like 2 small things or 3 small things that I had to get done within the day allowed me to recover a lot easier. It allowed me to honor my peace and my presence a lot more. Number 2, declutter in waves. So recently I began decluttering in small waves. Some days were more productive than others. So some days I barely moved the needle at all, and other days I accomplished a lot more. I think that learning to just go along with your energy and moving with my energy and how I felt that day, and just allowing progress in these little steps. I learned to acknowledge the small progress and the fact that it was also part of the bigger picture of the entire project. I learned to acknowledge that and not push or judge myself. Progress does not need to be perfect or consistent, it just needs to be real. I think it has something to do with also being realistic with ourselves. Some days are just more jam-packed than others. Some days we have appointments, some days we have tasks that we need to get done. So I think that also just being realistic with ourselves about what's actually achievable is also helpful. I can be a bit of a perfectionist, and sometimes I feel like if I'm not moving the needle in a big and meaningful way, it means that there's something wrong or something needs to be fixed. And that's not always the case. So I'm also trying to learn to be a little bit more realistic with myself and to give myself a little bit more peace and pause. Number 3, choosing quiet moments instead of constant stimulation. Walks, journaling, resting, and meditating. Subconsciously, I've been avoiding TikTok a little bit more, which has helped me to learn to be present and to find enjoyment in the quiet. Not every moment needs to be filled with dopamine and activity. Number 4, being aware of energy leaks. Rumination has been something that I've struggled with on and off in my life. Talking about it and allowing myself to feel the emotions and working through it, but then also knowing how to let it go afterwards has been extremely important for me. It can feel powerful to rant and be angry, but realistically, you end up feeling more drained after that experience. It's like you're still giving that thing energy. Sometimes what's happened has happened and what's been said has been said, and no amount of ruminating over it and reliving the past is going to change anything. But when we do decide to rant about it, it's like we're choosing to stay in a story that's already been written. It's time to focus on new things and better things. Also drama online, celebrity gossip and drama. These are all energy leaks to some degree. These are things that I try to avoid just because giving my energy away to things that don't help me in any way, shape, or form are in any way related to where I'm going in the future are not helping me heal. Gossip and drama, no matter whether it be celebrity gossip or people in your life, it all ends up draining your energy. Number 5, rebuilding creative momentum. Getting back into YouTube has been very energy healing for me. It's about learning to express myself imperfectly and choosing to create in an entirely new way. It's been therapeutic, and it's allowed me to open new doors, and it's allowed me to see a different side of my passions, one that may have been silenced a little too long. I think for a lot of my corporate life, I have been abandoning that side of myself. I've often felt like my corporate life was very devoid of creative energy in any way, shape, or form. For me, my job was related to being perfect and getting everything done within a specific time frame. Being perfect, being fast, being consistent, these were all things that were extremely important. But of course, it felt like I was constantly running on fast mode. Felt like I was constantly running. And I didn't get enough rest to recuperate properly. And then of course I'd get resentful of some of my colleagues or my team members. And really it didn't really have much to do with them. It was my own responsibility to learn how to communicate that I needed more breaks or needed more help than it was for them to fix that in my life. In saying that, I think that focusing on the creative side instead of these strengths that I have built up through corporate life has been extremely healing for me, because it allows me to see a side of myself and to kind of delve into more hobbies that I'm interested in that maybe I wasn't so aware of before when I was focusing on the grind and when I was focusing on that corporate life. It's kind of nice to allow myself to communicate imperfectly or to put myself out there imperfectly. So in conclusion, I'm not a seasoned pro at slow living. In fact, I try to live by checklists and tasks. I used to try to get ahead of it because I used to believe that if I stayed ahead of the chaos, then it would relieve my anxiety. And although that was true to some extent, it also kind of made me live in fight or flight mode quite consistently. It drained me so fast, and it seemed like no amount of rest or recovery, no amount of holiday time could ever help me feel better. Burnout typically forces a person to slow down, and after years of pushing myself, it eventually did. I started having sleepless nights, and I started getting massive vertigo. Because of this, I had to go on stress leave. It felt like my body was fighting me, forcing me to take pause. Although my largest stressors have been removed from my life to a large degree, I thought that I would share the things that have helped me. Anyway, I hope this video has been helpful, and if so, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.